What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today, we're here with part 3 of the interview with Shane Balkowitsch, where he talks about his portrait of Greta Thunberg and the controversy that happened after that. Take a look down in the description for links to his new book that was just released, and I hope you enjoy the video.
There was, I want to say, 62 national and international newspaper articles picked up on that story through the Associated Press.
Yeah, you said it, Eric. Wow.
So, you would, I'm not boasting, but you're looking at the most viewed modern day web plate of all time. I mean, what other web plate has been viewed by 2 million people, shared 500,000 times?
No,
It's not about my work. It's more about Greta and who she is. I understand that. But I just happen to be there. It's an honor, right? You get these opportunities and you take them. So, and what was cool about it is Greta had said to me before she left, she said, "I'll share your image, your web plate," and she wanted to share standing for us all. And even at the time, I didn't even have that name understand. So I came up with that name on the way back from Standing Rock. So Chad Nodland sitting in the passenger seat with this little wood holder, like holding these plates, making sure they're jostling around, they're clinking along the side of the box. And we're deciding, don't drop that box, Chad. She's already gone. Our moment of, what we had with her is already done. So we knew that we had to protect those plates and get them to the archives. And that was one of my promises to her father, was that I would not keep the plates. One of the promises I made to him, other than sharing the work, is that I told him I want to find proper homes for these. They're not going to be sold. They're going to be gifted. So I'm not going to make one penny off this. So, the Library of Congress took the one, and then her. And I told him that I really want to get one into Sweden. That it would be an honor to be able to put one in her home country. And I was able to do that with the Nordiska Museet. Trying to think of where I was going with this. I got sidetracked on this. We were talking about. Damn it! I lost my train of thought. Where was I going?
So, I guess where I was trying to go, and I'm not trying to hijack it, what I was going to say is you had the 2 portraits, and then that was October. There was the interim time where you got the Greta portrait in the Swedish museum, and I'm not going to try to say the name.
Nordiska.
The Nordiska.
Yep, Museet, Museet. A beautiful, it's a beautiful building. It's a beautiful building. It's like a castle.
And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's in Sweden, so it was a great honor. I remember what I was thinking about. So Greta said she'd share her image with me, right? And how does this web plate get 2 million likes? Well, so I took her plate, and she stayed in North America probably 3 more weeks, I think. She went all over the place. She went up to Canada after she was with me and all this stuff. And, I was following, I was waiting for her to share. She never shared. And she had promised me she'd share. And when did she share? She shared on the day that she left America, which, the day that she arrived was really huge, right? It was a really big day that she arrived. Greta arrived to America on the sailboat. But even a bigger day for social media and for the stories and all that was the day that she left. And the day that she left, she said goodbye to America. And then she said, this wet plate of me was taken by Shane Balkowitsch in Bismarck, North Dakota. So she saved the bet. She could have shared it 3 days later, and it wouldn't not have had the impact that it did. That she actually thought enough about my portrait that her leaving America, which was a historic moment as well, she decided to share my photograph. And that's when, it was like she shared it, and someone said, shared your photograph. And I look, and it was 180,000 likes. And then I look 15 minutes later, it's 420,000 likes. And then I looked, 20 minutes later, it's 890,000 likes. And it was just like my emails blew up. I just couldn't keep up. Emails, and everyone's messaged me. I had like 4,000 friend requests or something in an afternoon. So, and I should say I responded to every one of those. So I can't accept that many because they have a limit, and I'm already at my max or around that max. I'm at 5,000, but I was able to. I have an artist page out there on Facebook. If you look up Shane Balkowitsch Nostalgic Glass, that's my artist page, and then people can like that all they want, and they can follow my work. So I post everything out there without those limitations. But so Greta, she came through for me, as an artist. She could not have picked a more poignant time to share my work than when she did.
And that's the portrait that ended up at the Library of Congress here in America.
Right. If you look, you can go to the Library of Congress and do a search on their database. They've indexed it, and it's actually the pictures out there, and it's indexed, and it's got my name, it's got her name and the date and everything. So, with some of this controversy, people told me I was a liar, that it's not even out at the Library of Congress and stuff like that, and it's like, some guy said that's a photoshopped image, that Greta was never in front of you. So, I mean, this is some of the stuff that I've had to deal with, and I can show them a picture of me and Greta side by side, and it's ignorance, and but it is what it is. So, I mean, here we've talked already for 35 minutes, and we haven't even talked about the controversy. I could really go on. I could go on for hours about this process, and I do go on for hours when I have students out and guests out. So.
And yeah, so then that does bring us right up to, I guess, what was it, about 2 weeks ago now, where, you just had quite a firestorm kick up in Bismarck.
Yeah, and it was, people, so Thursday was supposed to be coming around. This was a couple weeks back, and I don't remember the dates. I'm a little tired tonight, guys, so bear with me, but it was a couple weeks back, and it was a Tuesday. Thursday. Now I've got other works here. I've got 2 large installations, and I've got Virgil Hill, the famous boxer, and Ernie LaPointe, the great grandson of City Bulls. I got their portraits on an electrical box to beautify downtown. It was part of a program, but I do have 2 large murals that I've put up: Murderer's Gulch and Liberty Trudges Through Injustice. Murderer's Gulch is a historic piece based on an actual alley that was in Bismarck, North Dakota, called Murderer's Gulch, and it was a documented a place where a bunch of bad guys and prostitutes hung out, and there was actually, I want to say, 11 murders in this little alley, and so it was a rough part of town, and the police wouldn't even go in there. And the story goes, a historian told me the story. A bad guy shot or beat up one of Custer's privates. So Custer sent the 7th Cavalry into the Gulch here in Bismarck, downtown Bismarck, to round this guy up. I mean, that was the history around that portrait. So I blew that up 10 feet tall, and that's in downtown, behind the Toasted Frog. And what's cool about these installations is that, students will go over there and visit it. Complete strangers will go through town, and I'll get this text message or this message on social media. Look, I'm with your picture, and it's part of the downtown. They become pokey stops, and it's down part of the downtown. Some of my work is down to the downtown. They have little tours and stuff. So then the tour groups stop, and they're in alleys, and these alleys who cares about an alley, right? I mean, there's nothing. Nobody goes down an alley unless you have to. But here, if you put a piece of art in an alley, you get all these people going down alleys, which is, I like that. I like that idea more than I like having my work on the front of a building or a facade of a building. It's down that alley. Go check it out. There's something about that, that you're going off the beaten path to see a piece of art. So I have Murderer's Gulch, and then I have Liberty Trudges Through Injustice, which is based off Liberty Leading the People, which is at the Louvre, the French piece. And it's Lady Liberty standing there with a bunch of soldiers fallen, and it's about the French Revolution and so forth. But I made it American with the American flag and Our Lady Liberty, and it was 50 people in 8 months pulling that one off. So I have these other murals downtown. So it came time to okay, well, I should try to put up another mural. So I found a landlord downtown, that really nice guy, Mr. Eggers, and he drives a Tesla, so he seemed like the perfect kind of guy to, like think that, oh, this would be good to have Greta Thunberg downtown. And then he had asked me, he said, okay, that's great. I love the idea, Shane. Just go talk to my renter, which is the bakery downtown. And so I talked to them and showed them the picture and said, this is, they knew about Liberty Trudges Through Justice is right across the street. It's only 50 feet away. And he knew about that. And he said, yeah, that'll be great. So we had this all planned. So the city was all on board. I mean, and I've never had a problem with the city of Bismarck. So I think that's important that I document that. The city planner and stuff, he came back to me and said, Shane, this is great. You've done other pieces. There's nothing. This is private money on a private building in an alley. There's absolutely no objections by the city of Bismarck on and having another piece of your work. In fact, we would be honored if you would do that for us. Because you understand, I'm born and raised here. So I was born here in 1969. So this is my hometown. I run a business here for 22 years. This is where my studio is. I got my 4 children here. So this is my hometown. And this is kind of like me giving back to the community. So everything was set. The planner called me on the phone. You're all great, Shane. Just, Thursday, they got to have this Renaissance Commission has got to just vote on it. And there's nothing about the voting that is going to go awry, and this is going to be voted on, and you can do your installation. So on Tuesday, this is 2 days before that, I got a phone call from the local radio, the local news station, KFYR. And the young reporter, she was nice. She said to me, we want to do a story on the mural. And I'm like, what mural? And she says, well, the Greta Thunberg mural. So the only way that they would know that is that someone had given the the agenda for Thursday's meeting, and there are not a lot of interesting things come out of these meetings. It's not like the news is sitting there at the door waiting for these Renaissance Commission meetings to take place. So I said, what mural? And she says, well, Greta Thunberg. And right away I'm like, how did you find out about that? And I said, this is great. I said, there is no mural yet. I said, I've got to get approved by the city, right? I mean, why am I doing a story on a mural that I don't even know that has been approved yet? I can't jump the gun on this. And I said, I'll take your name. You got the scoop on this. So when it gets, approved and installed and you can have the story, I'll come to your studio, or you can come out to my studio, or we can do an interview in the alley, and I'll give you the scoop. The story is yours because you're the first one that came up with this. And she got off the phone with me and calls back 20 minutes later and says, we are running the story with or without you. At that point, I was pissed. I was saying, how in the hell? And this is what I said to her, and I didn't use hell. I used much stronger language than this. How in the hell can you do a story about an art installation piece without the artist? And at that point, she says, we're running at 5:00 with or without you. If you don't give us, your side, we will just say the artist refused to comment. And I was just absolutely like livid. That I said, do you realize that I don't have to do this installation? This isn't some grant or, you know what I mean? This is my own money, lady. And you can be doing a story on a Tuesday about a mural that I decide not to install on Thursday. I said, what sense does this make? And she says, we're running the story at 5. What do you want to say? So I had to give the interview. And the interview was great. I mean, I talked about the piece. I talked about the inspiration. I talked a little bit about the story. It was a nice, a nice informative piece about this potential installation of this art piece downtown Bismarck. Story hit. By the next day, I mean, the shit hit the fan. I mean, there was threats, online threats, threats of boycotting, threats of vandalism, that kind of thing. And I was just like, look, this is what I can't believe this is happening, that this gift that I'm trying to give the city of Bismarck, that these people are attacking the poor bakery. I mean, they're a new company in town. I mean, I'm a small business myself. I mean, I've always thought we stand together. So, I mean, I'd be damned that this small business that's trying to get off the ground, and they're just a fabulous place to eat. Their food is awesome, and they got the best pastries in the town. I mean, they're just awesome. I'll be damned that someone's going to take it on the chin from me. I mean, I can take it on the chin for my art all day long, and I have no problems doing that. And I have been taking it on the chin. But I can't have this bakery take it on the chin. And then the landlord, there was threats against the building, and you know, they called and said, you know, this is what we're getting. And I said, well, you guys I can't put you in this position. So I called like immediately and pulled my permit, and that we never got to that Thursday vote.